Want to know the one trait that instantly shifts how men treat you? Well, it's detachment. And most folks, when they think of detachment, they think of being cold, distant, and aloof. But there's a power of detachment that when a woman understands it, that men find themselves almost magnetically attracted to them. Now that may seem hard to believe, but let's break that down and go into why this is the case. When you're detached, think about men that you're not interested in. Doesn't mean that you hate them, doesn't mean that you think poorly of them, you just don't really notice them. You don't see them. You don't pay attention to them. And because of that, that comes across to those men as you being confident. So you don't care enough about them to be ugly or rude, or you're not trying really hard to be cold and pulling back. You're busy doing your own thing, whatever it is. And it may be something as simple as just focusing on where you're walking. It may be something just checking your cell phone. When you are detached, it doesn't mean that you are trying to reject someone else. It means that you're focused on you, what's important to you. That can be in the moment. It can be of something higher, a higher goal or higher standard. But it comes across as being confident that you're more concerned with you and what you're focused on than you are the other person. And when you're focused, and take this to a higher level, when you're focused on your dreams, your goals, what you want in life, who you want to become, and make that the center, instead of being focused on a particular man and how do I get him to like me and how do I need to contort and change myself, you naturally become more appealing. You also find yourself not needing as much validation from him. Now, these things are normal to want these. I mean, if you like someone, of course, you're going to want to be validated by them. Of course, you're going to want to have them think of you a certain way, and you want them to look on you favorably. I mean, you want them to like you. But this is about a hierarchy where your main hierarchy is you and your heart and what's important to you. And then the man fits within that as opposed to he's the center of your world. This also puts less pressure on him to make you happy. Now, one of the things that men won't say, but I'll tell you, is what they hate is when a woman blames them for their unhappiness. Not when he does something awful and he does something really terrible. I mean, he deserves to be blamed for that, and most men understand that. But she's upset, she's overwhelmed, she's got things that bother her, and he tries to fix it. He tries to help her. He tries to solve a problem. She doesn't want the problem solved. She wants him just to listen. She wants him to join with her and feel bad with her, and it drives most men crazy because it's like, I don't want to do that. I want to solve the problem. I want to move past this. I don't like staying in this state. See, he's not one of your girlfriends. And he feels like he's getting drugged into that. When you are detached and you are focused on you and your happiness and your responsibility, you won't feel the need to drag him into your world when it feels miserable. Again, there's times that you're going to, I'm not saying never, share your heart with him when you're overwhelmed. But the idea of him just sitting with you and sitting with you when you're upset. I was watching a video by Alex Ramosi, and he was talking about it with his wife. And he said he learned that early on that she would get upset or get kind of grumpy, and he's an encourager, and he would say encouraging things. What can I do? How can I help you? And he said she just stayed that way. She just stayed overwhelmed, kept complaining. He said, and this is his words, finally I realized I had to just be mean with her. He didn't mean cruel, he didn't mean abusive. He just got blunt with her. And he said, and that snapped her out of it. He goes, it's not that that's what I wanted to do. He said, it's just what I was doing wasn't working. See, now, a lot of men won't do what he did. A lot of men will just keep trying to placate and just trying to listen to you and all, and he's tolerating that. That doesn't make you more appealing. You may think he's getting closer by listening to you sharing. He's not. He's actually learning to detach from you and care less. So remember, your main objective is that you want to be able to see a man for who he is. And seeing him for who he is, not just what you want him to be, requires that you are able to be objective. If your focus is on him and you're more attached with him than detached, your view of him is going to be skewed based on how you're feeling. If he's really happy with you, you're going to see him favorably. What a great guy. And if he's upset with you, you're going to wonder what you're doing wrong or did I say the wrong thing? And especially if he accuses you of it. He's upset, it's because your fault, because you didn't accommodate him, or you didn't listen long enough, or you dared to disagree with him. Oh my gosh, that sounds awful the way he says it. So you're not really seeing him for who he is. You're seeing him the way he wants you to see him. Being detached is a form of independence, not where you don't need someone, but that you maintain your identity, who you are, the things that are important to you, and then you share that with him and he shares that with you. We don't want a codependent relationship where we're dependent upon each other for happiness, because then if the other person's unhappy, I can't have a satisfying life. I can't have a good day. For those that have been through the support group Al-Anon, they do a wonderful job of teaching about this, because those members go there because loved ones are alcoholics and it breaks their heart and they wish to goodness they could do something to help them, and they worry and they fret and they wonder, what can I possibly do? And they teach them. They said, you cannot control them. And the healthy detachment they teach is we still love the person, but we do not tolerate certain behaviors. There's actions and consequences to what they do. If they're ugly and horrible to us, whatever boundary needs to be in place, we impose that boundary. Generally, if someone is rude to us, we leave the company of them when they're being rude. Oh, but Bob, I'm afraid he'll think I hate him or he won't like me. You probably wouldn't say that exactly. I've just had clients that have said that to me at times. I say, what I think you're afraid of is this. If you get quiet and pull away for no reason, yes, then he would think, what a snob, how arrogant of you, how condescending. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about when he does something clearly rude, something you don't like, something you don't want to accept. Then you would detach from it and maintain this stance of detachment because it doesn't align with who you are. The nice thing is, because it's difficult to detach, I'm not worrying about you overusing this. I'm not worried about you turning into a snob or someone that's just a witch and awful, because unless it bothers you a lot, it's too difficult. You won't do it. Instead, this detachment is where you're responsible for your happiness and other people can help, because you know what you like more than anything else. And if you don't know, can we start discovering what it is you like? What are the things that you do that just light you up? What hobbies, activities? It's not either or where you do those things or have a relationship. This takes pressure off the relationship. When a woman's detached, she's going about her life, living it. It doesn't mean she doesn't want a relationship. It doesn't mean she doesn't get lonely at times. But it means that there is something about her that a man can trust, because she's responsible for her happiness, and that makes it easier for him to please her. She does things. If she's in a bad mood or overwhelmed, she fixes that problem. She addresses it head on, whether it's with her man or with something at work or with a friend. And because of that, since there's not as much pressure and responsibility on him to make her happier, then the things he does, there's not this big hole for him to fill. Now his efforts are noticed by her much more, and he can pay attention to how she responds. Because if you're not detached, this hole you carry inside is looking for a man or a relationship to fill it. And that's too much pressure for a man. And him spending all that time trying to fill that, and when he doesn't get it right, you're upset or overwhelmed. After a while, he just stops. After a while, it's just not worth it. What's the point of trying when most of the time I'm not going to do it good enough or well enough? That's how men think. So you being detached and keeping this in a healthy way enables him to feel that you're easy to please. It also engages his chase instinct. Now, this is what you hear a lot about, and oftentimes it's described as being hard to get. But hard to get can come across as, again, snobbish, condescending when we're just trying to be cold. Now, we want to do the balance between rewarding the things that you really like and not rewarding the things that you don't. We're not even after punishing with this. What we're talking about is that when you're following your pursuits and he does stuff you like, you'll just naturally notice it. And because you're following your pursuits, it'll be easier for you to give him an emotional reaction. It's easier for you to show happiness. It's easier for you to convey how much you really loved what he did. See, I favor this a lot more than scripts, a lot more than figuring out what exactly should I say. Actually, if you'll just reward him for the stuff you really like, the words don't matter that much. It's just keeping it inside may feel safe. It may feel like, oh, I don't want to overdo it, but you won't overdo it when it's authentic. And when he gets rewarded for that, and doesn't get rewarding for just offering you crumbs and doesn't get rewarded just because he happened to look at you or spend 5 minutes with you, that becomes naturally more appealing because he has to stretch to reach. He has to make effort. He has to make plans. And a man bonds with you the more he pursues. The more steps he takes towards you, the more he's bonding with you. The less effort he has to make, the more he's likely to take you for granted. And that's probably the worst thing I want for you. When you're doing this and you're staying objective, you become the chooser. You become the one that gets to select. You become the one that gets to pick, is this the man that I give my heart to? Is this the one I fall in love with? Because when you are detached, it also offers this benefit that I find is critical. It enables you to wait to fall in love until you see what he's like when he's angry. I don't mean if he gets angry. At some point, he's going to get angry. Maybe it's you, maybe it's the waiter, maybe it's the waitress. And when you're detached and you're not fully all in with him and fully committed with him, then you can observe the way he treats them is the way he's going to treat me. At some point, you won't have the belief of, oh, he would never treat me that way. When someone has that belief, they're not detached. They're fully committed and they're making up a story. Oh, he would never do that with me. What a man does with one person, he does with every person. The way a man treats one person is the way he treats everyone. Maybe not identical, because he carries that seed inside of him. If he yells at someone when he's angry, he may not yell at everyone, but he has the potential to yell at anyone that makes him angry enough. Some people don't yell. That's just not their nature. And they're not going to do that, short of a physical emergency. So I want you to see what he's like when he's angry so that you can decide, is this what I want? Can I live with this? Can I accept this is what he does when he's angry? You're not going to like it. No one does. But is this something you can accept? And I want you to be able to see this objectively. And unless you're detached, you won't be able to. So those are our guidelines for what happens when you stay detached. It's not cold. It's not mean. It's not dismissive. It's actually a form of self-love. And it's the kind of self-love that you will find men are irresistibly attracted to.